We are going to retrieve a broken razor that was said to be stuck in a rattlesnake. This morning is really stunning. Sometime during the night, the rain stopped. We will liberate him. Viewers consistently rank Matt's off-road recovery among the most popular Discovery channels. The show is a reality, inspiring account of a tow truck guy from southern Utah's meteoric rise to YouTube fame. Many people laud Matt for his on-screen success, but he had to overcome many obstacles, including betrayals and litigation, behind the scenes. Get ready to learn Matt's tragic tale from Matt's achieving stardom through off-road recovery. A photo they supplied us showed what seems to be a damaged ball joint. We returned the trailer to that location. We will attach it using a winch. There won't be any problem getting us out of there in the car. Other up-and-coming YouTubers have found inspiration in Matt's off-road recovery and similar channels because to their prominence and popularity. What began with a handful of views has grown into a large audience. With only 3.5 years of YouTube content under its belt, Matt's off-road recovery has reached the level of national fame that requires nearly 1.5 million subscribers. Day by day, the YouTube channel expands. Nevertheless, Matt Wetzel, the channel's originator, is a contributing factor to the channel's popularity. Matt has worked tirelessly on the show, and it has grown because of him, all the way to the very top. Matt, a middle-aged tow truck driver from Hurricane, Utah who is tough, big-bearded, and technologically challenged, has demonstrated that anybody can achieve success. His channel has grown from its humble beginnings to its current prominence using only an iPhone, all because to his innate abilities, skills, and efficiency. Matt took a risk and began recording on his iPhone while most individuals wait for the necessary equipment and funding to launch their channel. As of right now, the show is among the most watched in history on the channel. Can you tell me about Matt's off-road recovery? We will discover. Based on the true escapades of Matt and his companions, Matt's off-road recovery is an exciting, family-friendly YouTube channel. Throughout the show, Matt frequently discusses the bare-knuckle recoveries that he and the team went through. With his wife Jamie, 4 sons, and a gentleman named Ed as crew, he has always had an intriguing group. The crew grew with time, and they were joined by an increasing number of competent and likable individuals. 3 more canines, all of whom are rescues, joined the channel later on. Lady and Peanut were the names given to the 2 border collies, while Max was the name given to the 3rd dog, a chocolate Labrador. It seemed like every time the station came on, the dogs were beaming with joy. People frequently said they were the happiest dogs ever because of how they dashed through the wilderness areas that have been completely neglected. There's more. Various off-road recoveries of cars and UTVs are also featured on the channel. Tragically, inexperienced tourists who aren't familiar with the area or the rental car's off-road capabilities often found themselves behind the wheel of these automobiles. Many viewers' admiration for the Discovery Channel grew after watching this natural spectacle. The show's natural, unscripted flow was a welcome relief. In addition, Matt's films provide an inside look at his life on the job, showing how he and his crew handle the several challenging recoveries in the remote areas in southern Utah that are home to some of the state's most breathtaking natural attractions, such as Sand Hollow State Park and Zion National Park. Matt and his team also faced some perilous situations. The majority of the action occurred within a 200-mile radius, while they would occasionally venture north for recoveries in the northern Utah mountains. Hurricane's Path. A 3-part format is consistently followed by their videos. First, I received a desperate call from a stranded motorist who described the exact position and condition of their vehicle. Afterwards, they proceed to the destination via a fast-paced travel. Music and the sound of canines sprinting behind recovery vehicles are common accompaniments on their way to the scene. Finally, they get to the dramatic and sometimes tearful diagnosis and rescue. No matter the severity of the motorist's errors in judgment, they will always be handled with courtesy and respect when they are stuck. As a result of their vehicle's unsuitability for the task at hand, problem solving was a favorite activity for Matt and his crew. They found great joy in utilizing their ingenuity and other resources to save those in dire circumstances. It might seem that Matt's off-road rehabilitation is looking stunning too. Numerous, but Matt first had to put in a lot of time and effort. Even he had his share of depressing moments. Matt worked as a roofer for 12 years before becoming a popular YouTuber. Did you find that surprising? To be sure, he didn't just decide to definitely start a YouTube channel. That thought never occurred to him. He got his start in the roofing industry by working as an employee for 10 years before taking the reins as an entrepreneur for 2. He and Adam Stout founded Skyline Roofing when he departed from his employer. As it happened, the roof was to a significant degree, and its headquarters remain in Hurricane, Utah. It took Matt 2 years to realize he needed to make a change. After selling his stake in Skyline, he established Red Ryder Towing by acquiring the assets of a nearby towing company. Was his background in towing anything special? No way. He hadn't done much professional towing before he got Red Ryder, but he was used to pulling huge loads from roofing jobs, farms, and other odd jobs. One aspect of towing is figuring out how to work around obstacles and learning the limitations of your equipment. And aren't supposed to use it, according to Matt. I pounced on the opportunity to join the towing industry. That was the way Matt thought. He was quite active and forward-thinking. He found the most joy in trying out different things. A short time after Matt launched Red Ryder Towing and acquired Winter Towing. In 2013, Matt purchased Winder Towing after considering the possibility of spending his life creating his own towing company or buying an existing one. Matt had a tough time when he first set out. Unfortunately, Matt was unable to go forward in 2009 when he began receiving requests for off-road tow jobs due to a lack of suitable equipment. Phone calls would roll in and he explained, "We just started doing them anyway, and we didn't do super good, and we knew it was all wrong." The system wasn't functioning as Matt knew. Take this hypothetical situation. A couple of college students are driving to Sand Hollow Beach in August when the temperature is 110 degrees and they become trapped. In his opinion, you should send a wrecker and some more cables out there because you're asking the employee is in hot water after having to drag 150 feet of cable out, traverse the sand, retrieve 100 feet of cable extension, return, drag it all the way, attach it, retrieve another one, and retrace their steps. He went on. The procedure of dragging the cable to the automobile, hooking it up, and then repeating it would take 2, 3, or even 4 men. Our maximum draw length is 150 feet. We must thereafter detach that cable and attach it to the subsequent one. Raise this cable and then lower them once again. By the end of it, you've given some college students who barely had enough money to pay the entrance fee a job that pays $1,200 or $1,500. Sometimes it seems like the tow charge will be enough to ruin the vehicle we're removing. The vehicle is unappealing. As soon as I saw something was amiss, I would discount heavily. Their hearts would have sunk even if I reduced the price to $400 or $500. Additionally, I'm dragging these pricey vehicles across the sand, but I'm taking them too far, so I have to. Attempting to save oneself and all that, therefore it was clearly ineffective. Additionally, Matt disclosed that he had come to the conclusion that it was not prudent to adapt the tow rigs for off-road recovery after tallying up the losses. He was able to begin anew because of this. His next move was a 2001 Cherokee SUV. He refurbished the vehicle and gave it a sunny yellow coat of paint. Additionally, Matt said that the Cherokee's moniker, Banana, originated from the yellow paint. Just before the modified Cherokee yanked his Class C, a suspicious customer gave him the moniker, Vehicle Retrieval from the Desert. Then what Matt thinks is a great tool, kinetic energy ropes, are incorporated. With the use of kinetic ropes and the Banana, or the newer Morve, Matt and his team were able to cut down on recovery times and costs. These tasks are now being completed in literally minutes instead of hours, he lamented. Matt's improvement and performance were directly proportional to the number of hours he spent recovering from off-road rides. A group of his longtime buddies began receiving his nightly podcasts. When asked about his friends, he mentioned that one of them works as an airline pilot and the other as a nuclear engineer. They sit about all day doing dull work. They hear my stories and think, "You should write a book. Please give me images." Matt was very concerned for and loved his buddies. He began to take more photos and short movies to appease them, which he then shared with his friends. Just so they can see some great stories about what we're doing, I'm doing all this work for 2 people. His loved ones advised that he consider uploading the films to YouTube. They advised, "You can make it worth your time. Some people are doing this for a living." When they offered this advice, Matt's next hurdle was effectively utilizing technology. He struggled with it. "A laptop is too much for me to handle," he declared. "I'm not very good with technology in that regard. I enjoy solving problems, but I just can't stand computer issues." Following this piece of advice, Matt started to investigate YouTube's potential. His investigation led him to the conclusion that a lot of individuals would start making home videos and uploading them to YouTube since it doesn't cost anything. Furthermore, he witnessed firsthand how numerous individuals transformed their YouTube channels into thriving enterprises, raking in millions of dollars, all thanks to the quality and popularity of their videos. His brother-in-law assisted him after he watched a lot of movies to launch my YouTube channel, but so far, so good. It was a lot of work. I realized somewhere between 2016 and 2017 that this was a long process. I was so overwhelmed, he said, adding, "I think there are 2 videos on it. Quite distant from it in terms of videography and editing. Then I started to wonder why out of 10 billion YouTubers, nearly none are making it big. What are they doing wrong? And what are the successful ones doing right that is compelling them to leave their jobs and dedicate themselves full-time to this?" He continued, saying, "It was a long process, but I could hyper-focus for years, even if his initial attempt at launching a YouTube channel was unsuccessful. At that period, he also didn't know what questions to ask. I devoted myself entirely to studying on YouTube and he devoted many hours to studying on YouTube until coming across LUMAF Fusion, a mobile program that let him edit on his phone instead of a desktop. Since he didn't require a PC, I thought, alright, I can handle this if I can use my iPhone to use it." As an example, Matt explained that he learned how to use YouTube via YouTube. He mentioned that there are YouTubers like Nick Nim who are all self-taught and that his story continues to inspire many. Regarding the basics of starting a YouTube channel, what are the do's and don'ts? It's human nature to want to do the right thing on YouTube, but there are some things that people tend to do poorly, such asking for too many likes and shares. As time went on, Matt found more and more joy in YouTube. As his fame grew, he met actual YouTubers and industry insiders who told him they look up to him. Countless people have approached him, telling him they thought they needed to start YouTubing until they had hundreds of thousands of dollars in gear, a studio, and other devices. However, inspired by his story, they took a risk and began with what they had. They boldly announced, "Hey, this high school-educated tow truck driver started a YouTube channel with an iPhone," which is precisely what Matt did. He centered his channel around. He began using the technology he had on hand to record and edit his own stories. It was challenging, but he persisted. He had to balance off-road recovery with towing with tow trucks. He recounted his story. "Using it to record myself, I'm recording a lot of what's happening outside. Upon arrival at the site, I pass the phone to Ed, one of my children, my wife, or someone else. If not, I use rocks and sticks to prop it up. When Matt comes along," he began by running his towing firm around the clock, which consumed him physically and mentally. After everyone went to bed at approximately 10 p.m., he would frequently go to his attic to edit footage, occasionally dropping 2 or 3. Every night he struggled to obtain 2 or 3 hours of sleep. He recalls that he lived this way for over a year and a half. Eventually, after 6 or 8 months, his efforts paid off when a video he had shot became viral. He revealed that we were experiencing a surge in our number of popular videos, which had surpassed 1 million views. Typically, when you first begin, your movies receive a few thousand views. However, ours began to rise rapidly, reaching 10,000 views each video, then 20,000, and finally, this video. That went viral. We had a string of successful videos. A lot of people were curious about their rise to fame, and Matt started to wonder about the same things after seeing their success. One question that stayed with him was thinking about what makes a good video and what makes a bad video. He would frequently wonder why this video went well and why this one did not. After a while of thinking about this, he decided he was going to start his channel properly and do it the best way. He said, "I wanted it It was obvious to me that I could turn it into a profitable venture. I didn't give you a ticket. Meeting Daryl E.S. changed him. Meeting Daryl E.S. was a game changer for him. I know. No, this has been incredibly helpful. I felt the same way at CBX Live and much more so here. The meeting between Daryl E.S. and Matt was a blessing. Matt mentioned that while he was struggling with the decision to launch his YouTube channel, the more he heard the name Daryl E.S., the more intrigued he became. It wasn't long before he learned that Daryl had co-founded VidSummit, which further piqued his curiosity. People would tell him to, "Matt, you have him as a neighbor. Who is this guy?" Matt would ask in response. "Oh," they'd say, "well, he's connected to Mr. Beast and all those other famous YouTubers that Matt could think of." After Daryl's name was mentioned by everyone's. Nevertheless, Matt took a risk and asked a buddy for Daryl's number. When Matt phoned, Daryl answered the phone, which astonished him even more because the call was from an unknown number. Without hesitation, Daryl received his call. "Hey, I got this little YouTube channel," Matt announced. "I feel like I've hit the brick wall, even though it seems to be doing okay. There must be a way for me to improve it. Do you offer consultancy services? It is my desire to employ you." After listening to Matt, Daryl gave a response that shocked Matt. Daryl replied, "No, we don't do one-on-one, but I'm offering this class soon that you might be interested in. It costs $5,000. This seemed like an absurdly high sum to Matt, who had no interest in investing in such a large sum for his future YouTube channel. As Matt was about to hang up, Daryl interrupted and said, "What's the name of your channel?" In response, Matt revealed that it was Matt's Off-Road Recovery. 20 minutes after that, Matt got a text from Daryl that read, "Hey, we need to go to lunch." Upon meeting, Matt was surprised to hear Daryl praise his channel, claiming that his dedication and perseverance led him to develop an affection for the channel. Curious, he inquired, "Who's handling your editing?" "I'm accomplishing it," Matt responded. "Oh my goodness, we absolutely must put a stop to that," Daryl exclaimed. "We must procure for you an editor, as you ought to be engaged in content creation. Editing and uploading should be handled by your editor." Daryl risked it everything. "If you're committed, want to achieve this, and are looking for a helpful partner, we can work together." Matt said, "Daryl, you have to understand the chaos that was going on before this because I didn't know anything about computers." After they started conversing, they ended up reaching an agreement. We started to lose footage. In certain cases, audio. It was utter mayhem. Following these statements, Daryl came to the realization that Matt required additional instruction. He suggested his Jumpstart class, which Matt duly enrolled in. In these classes, Daryl instructed YouTube users on how to utilize YouTube and produce engaging content that would attract viewers. Also, Matt said that YouTube is like a riddle to him, and that if he can't hold the attention of his viewers, they will move on. It seems like everyone is on the hunt for something entertaining to watch. They could care less if it's artistically brilliant or how much work you're putting into it. All they want to know is if it alleviates their symptoms. Am I captivated? Would they be able to relate to it, making the time they invested in watching it worthwhile? I really enjoy the feature of YouTube. As far as Matt's career was concerned, Daryl was undoubtedly a boon, and the channel's viewership increased thanks to his assistance. Over time, YouTube paid Matt for his off-road recovery videos using Google's AdSense. A large number of sponsorships, affiliate relationships, and products were also secured by the organization. "I said," he repeated, "there is a walk-in store in our junkyard, and walk-in sales are bigger than online sales. We have toyed with some global markets. My signature series of kinetic energy ropes is a huge hit. Every year, we demolish the global nylon kinetic rope market. Far and away, my towing company." Matt went on to say that he isn't the one doing the footage anymore. Currently, the staff of the company are responsible for filming. Nonetheless, he continues to film whenever the mood strikes him. "If I'm vlogging," he stated, "it appears to be well received by the audience. After that, we save the film to Google Drive and assign it to one of our 4 editors." Daryl spends a portion of his time editing, and he hasn't done it since he began working with Matt as a partner. for the simple reason that he can't help but nitpick while editing, removing and replacing parts of the shows. Many YouTube channels have approached Matt about what's next after his meteoric rise to fame, including the Discovery Channel and the History Channel, but he has turned them all down. Persistently refused to acknowledge them in order to preserve his creative control. He had a strong belief in owning the story and steering the show in his desired direction. According to Matt, continuing in this direction while improving management is the best course of action. What's more, Matt and his team are. There have been rumors for quite some time that Matt is rethinking the idea of placing their content on a more personalized platform, like Patreon, where viewers pay to access content that connects them on a more personal level. The reason behind this comes from records. That Matt is incredibly generous, and he himself has acknowledged this. Jamie's greatest gripe with me is that I prefer to work for nothing. She never stops asking me, "Did you collect on that?" during our marriage. And sometimes I'll mumble in a low voice, "Well, no." Matt places a high value on giving back to the community. The YouTube family has donated over $600,000 to local organizations such as Tan Street Treats, Shop with a Cop, the Hurricane Valley Food Pantry, and an All Abilities Park in Hurricane. A considerable amount of time. He has also been involved with numerous fundraisers for off-road recovery groups. These groups' sole purpose is to enhance and safeguard public land for wheeling and other off-road recovery activities. Along with Darrell, Ed is another significant figure in Matt's A Tale of Triumph. He is also a star on Matt's off-road rehabilitation. Originally pals with Matt, 85-year-old Ed enjoys flying and gold prospecting on his California claim in his spare time. After meeting in 2009 in Matt's shop, Ed, who was living on site at the time, became close to Matt and the two quickly became good friends. Ed lived in a trailer outside the building for a long time, but later Matt had a section of the shop converted into an apartment for Ed. This moved Ed deeply and their friendship deepened. Despite Ed's troubled history, he always tried to be there for Matt. These days, he utilizes the Golden Nugget, a 1970s Suzuki LJ40, for errands and supplies. Ed often rides his Honda Roken bike about his property and had a story about lugging explosives in the basket. Every autumn, Ed works at his claim, which means he isn't on the channel for a while. Despite this, Matt still regards Ed as a buddy and appreciates his assistance with arranging many things and around the business. Matt officially appointed Ed as yard manager. According to Ed, he is just a retired gold miner and guard dog. Everything was going swimmingly for Matt until he was embroiled in a scandal, which almost led to his demise, the tragedy. In spite of all the attention and success the program was bringing Matt, he was unknowingly entangled in a scandal that would permanently damage his reputation. The incident occurred in 2021, when, in the latter months of the year, he was charged with one second-degree felony count of insurance fraud. As the case progressed, was tried in court, and after a not-so-subtle plea, the judge sentenced Matt to probation and fines from both the American Automobile Association and the state of Utah. The announcement stunned Matt's legion of followers, who had been led to believe it was all an elaborate hoax. Nevertheless, as per the Utah Insurance Fraud Division, a portion of the tows were executed by Matt's winder towing, including one that was featured in a video but was in fact misrepresented in claims submitted to AAA, resulting in over $15,000 in payouts from the insurer. And one of those tows that was featured on the channel was a Polaris RZR off-road vehicle that had been towed from Sand Hollow State Park in April 2020. Investigators looked into the claim, and a video of the tow ended up on Matt's YouTube channel, showing him hauling the vehicle. According to the court filing, this was declared illegal because off-road vehicle tows are not covered by AAA's policy. The RZR owner admitted to an investigator that he used his friend's TripAdvisor account to pay for the recovery. The claim was also filed with. It was then revealed by AAA that Winter Towing had recovered the friend's truck rather than the RZR. According to the document, following his conviction, Matt was charged with one secondary felony count of insurance fraud. This accusation was significant since it could result in a maximum prison sentence of 15 years, along with a $10,000 fine, though KSL News reports indicate that Matt might not pay nearly that much. Additionally, as part of the plea agreement, and because Matt pled no contest to a Class A misdemeanor, The charge was downgraded from the original felony, and instead of a jail term, he was probationed. According to KSL News, Wetzel was sentenced to 18 months of probation and fines, with $15,328 going to Tripoli and $1,745 to Utah's Insurance Fraud Division. Despite the intense litigation, the channel persisted. At one point, their professionalism shone through as they continued to upload footage despite the lawsuit. One of their followers even mentioned, "I even caught a glimpse of the morve wheeling at the King of the Hammers last month." Overall, it never felt like the YouTube channel was going through anything. Matt intends to continue providing off-road recovery services to the region and is requesting early termination, so it appears like justice has been served on both sides of the dispute. The Utah Attorney General's office is satisfied because he will be paying AAA back. Of the probation, what are your feelings regarding Matt's scandal? Were you let down by the revelation? Did you believe he was justly punished? Share your opinions here. Before you leave, take a look at the other videos on your screen. If you like this one, hit the like button, share it, and subscribe to my channel.